You want the moon? Just say the word and I'll throw a lasso around it and pull it down.
Look at the stars. The great kings of the past look down on us from those stars. So whenever you feel alone, just remember that those kings will always be there to guide you.
I don't think it is very useful to speculate on what God might or might not be able to do. Rather, we should examine what He actually does with the universe we live in.
We are all explorers, driven to know what's over the horizon. The most profound discoveries are not necessarily beyond that next star. They're within us, woven into the threads that bind us.
Good morning, happy Tuesday, happy Mars Day. I'm so grateful you're waking up with me this morning. Actually had a few technical difficulties starting the stream today, so however you're joining me, I'm grateful you're here, grateful to be able to get this up and running. If you're watching this on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter, throw me a comment, make sure everything is running smoothly, and let me know that you're here in the chat with me. How's everybody feeling after the major energetic shifts we saw yesterday with Mars moving into Sagittarius, then last night Mercury moved into Capricorn? So things might be feeling a little bit different today, or you might start to feel those energies shifting. Not only did two planets move into new signs, but around midnight the moon moved into Taurus. So now the moon is in a new sign as well. Thank you, Claudia. She said, so far everything is looking good. All right, thank you. Still getting the hang of this. I basically, I started this beginning of November, this live streaming endeavor, and I gave myself until the end of the year to work out all the kinks, figure out a good flow. So for everybody who's been joining the live streams and dealing with little hiccups here and there, I really appreciate you. You're part of this community, part of helping me launch this. And you're my people, so thank you. All right, so what's going on today? The moon is in Taurus, and we only have one major transit to talk about. Let's pull up the chart, and I will show you. So you can see the moon is at 4 degrees in Taurus right now. And what you'll notice, actually, is that a lot of our major planets are either in very low degrees, Mercury and Mars, 1 degree and 0 degrees, because they just moved into new signs, but most of the other planets are at really high degrees. So why do I bring that up? Well, the moon, you'll notice over the next couple days, will have these lulls of really no major connections or not a lot going on, and then it'll be like back to back to back to back. The moon is connecting with a bunch of different planets because Pluto's at 25 degrees, then Venus is at 26 degrees, Jupiter's at 27 degrees. So you see what I'm saying? The moon is making connections really quickly to a lot of different planets. Today, not so much. We have just a few transits to talk about, and not a whole lot going on in the skies. However, it is important to remember that Mars and Mercury did just move into those new signs. So we will be feeling that energetic shift, and you can see Venus and Pluto still pulling away from that conjunction to each other that we really felt over the weekend. So you might feel some lingering effects of that as well. But I want to know, if you're watching, did you feel any shifts yesterday? How's your energy feeling with Mars now in the fiery sign of Sagittarius? Might have brought a little bit of fire. The funny thing is, now that the moon is in Taurus, the moon was in Aries over the weekend, which just added to that fire energy, giving us that boost of momentum. Now that the moon is in Taurus, it's like, okay, we can slow down a little bit. The moon is exalted in Taurus, so it likes to be there. It likes to be nice and comfy and cozy in true Taurus fashion. So those are kind of the vibes of the Taurus moon that we'll be feeling over the next couple of days, really getting grounded, getting comfortable. But let's talk about the only major transit we're really seeing today, having to do with Mars. So Mars just moved into Sagittarius, and you can see it on the chart right here, what we're going to be talking about. Mars is at the same degree as the South Node, which we know means it's exactly opposite the North Node. So what does this mean? We've talked a lot about the nodes being the North and South Node of the Moon, kind of the North and South poles of the Moon, if you will. And the North Node represents our karmic destiny, the lessons we came into this lifetime to learn. The South Node represents our karmic past, so the lessons we already learned in past lives, or the knowledge we came into this life already knowing. So when Mars forms this conjunction with the South Node, Mars rules our actions, our motivations, our drive, our stamina. So we see a blending of these energies between Mars and almost a past version of ourselves or our past lives, what we're comfortable in. This could make you act from a place of past patterning, right? Or act like a past version of yourself when Mars forms this conjunction with the North Node. It can be easy to fall back into those old ways or those old patterns. And then at the same time, this opposition to the North Node means that our actions might have kind of a different motivation than our ultimate purpose or destiny. Not necessarily the most positive connotation for a transit, but what can we do? We can try not to make any sudden moves or impulsive reactions, decisions, especially now that Mars is in Sagittarius. It's a very spontaneous, external energy, kind of fly by the seat of your pants energy. So maybe try to slow that down a little bit today. Think things through. Ask yourself, are the activities I'm doing or the actions I'm taking, are they really supporting my highest self? And that alone can just give you that nice little pause, that brief moment to check yourself before you wreck yourself. So that's really the only major transit today. And as we look forward to the rest of the week, we kind of have a little bit of a sleepy week. The moon is dominating the story. We don't have a whole lot of connections happening between major planets. So we're going to be talking a lot about the moon this week, starting in just a moment here. And this is all leading up to Saturday's full moon in Gemini. So focusing on the moon, I like to think there are no accidents, there are no coincidences, even in astrology, even in the movement of the planets that are kind of mathematically tracked. I like to think that universe, spirit, God, whoever you think is the creator of this reality, helps us prepare for full moons, new moons, major events with the planetary transits. And I really feel like the focus this week is on the moon for a reason. Michael, go with the flow kind of deal. Yeah, with Mars opposite the North Node, going with the flow could be a good intention. But don't go too much with the flow. You know what I mean? Like, don't just be like, I feel like doing this, so I'm going to do it. Definitely go with the flow when it comes to interacting with other people, and we'll talk about that, especially with what's happening with the moon. But also know who you are. Don't just go with whoever's flow. Make sure you're staying true to you while you're going with the flow, if that makes sense. Okay, so let's talk about the moon. What is going on with this Taurus moon? This is a waxing gibbous moon. We talked a little bit about this, I think last week or earlier this week. What is a waxing moon? Well, the moon is being illuminated more and more every night as we head towards the full moon this weekend. And a waxing moon, these last days before the full moon, are really an opportunity to take those final steps. We see the full moon as this culmination point, this celebration, this time of abundance. So these are the moments to take final steps toward that. Whatever you're working on, whatever you are setting intentions towards, or maybe you had a shift during the solar eclipse and you've been working towards something, these are the days to take those final steps before this full moon. And then after the full moon is a time of release and letting go. So what are you working towards? The full moon can be that culmination point. And especially now that the moon moved into Taurus, Taurus likes to work hard, get grounded. Taurus is like, I like to say Sagittarius is like work hard, play hard. Taurus is like work hard, relax hard. Work hard, rest hard. Taurus loves like the cozy blankets, being comfy on the couch. So these next few days can feel very cozy, but also this can be a time to really hunker down and take those final steps like we were just talking about. Really get in line with your motivations. We'll crave more peace and comfort while the moon is in Taurus, but at the same time, we have that drive of the bull, Taurus, so we can kind of keep pushing forward in true earth sign style and keep working towards our goals and really put our head down and make forward progress. So we have two different transits with the moon today, both of them happening late tonight. So today, really, we just are going to feel the energy around 10 a.m. from that opposition between the Mars and the North Node. And then by 9 p.m. tonight, the moon finally starts to make some connections. And overnight, the moon did form, you can see here, this quincunx with Venus, yes. So the moon, when it hit 1 degree, formed this awkward angle. Oh no, it actually a trine, excuse me, because, and not Venus, Mercury. Mercury is now in Capricorn. So that happened overnight, which we probably didn't really feel the energy of that. You might have had some communications in your dreams. So if you had some really strong messages come through in your dreams, pay attention to those. But since the moon moved into Taurus around midnight, we most of us were asleep when that transit was happening. And you'll see that's, really the only low degree planet other than Mars right now. So other than those connections overnight, there's really not a whole lot for the moon to connect to until it makes a connection with Saturn over here in Aquarius. And that happens around 9 o'clock tonight Pacific time. The moon forms this square, this 90-degree angle to Saturn. When the moon squares off to Saturn, it can have kind of a negative or depressing vibe. It can bring about feelings of sadness or loneliness because our internal emotions, our emotional security is conflicting and challenging almost our responsibilities. Like our responsibilities feel extra heavy when there's this square between the moon and Saturn. It can also make it harder to connect with other people. It can feel like there's some emotional distance there. And you also might find yourself later tonight a little bit hung up on the past. Saturn's influence really lets us focus on the past, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it can kind of take us into a place of worry or what if I would have just done this, or I should have just done this. And especially with Mars forming that conjunction with the South Node, our actions really being in line with a past version of ourselves, Saturn's influence can really have us dwelling on the past. So how can we use this to our advantage? Well, when the moon squares Saturn, we're reminded of our responsibilities. So this is a moment to really take responsibility for your emotions. If you are feeling sad or lonely tonight, or just even off, maybe worrying a bit more than normal, remember that you're the only person who can control what's going on up here, right? So take responsibility for your emotions, even if they're sad, even if that just means doing a little bit of self-care. Especially with the moon in Taurus, caring for the body, caring for yourself can be really important and really impactful as well. So if you have a nice big bathtub, it'd be a great night for a bath, or even just, like I said, snuggling up on the couch, watching something that makes you feel good. That can be taking responsibility for your emotions, just choosing to feel better, choosing not to worry, even if it does mean checking out into a movie or whatever. But Taurus also rules the senses, so doing something physical, maybe not even movement oriented, but doing something physical that makes you feel safe and comforted and maybe happy. I keep saying wrap yourself up in a blanket on the couch so you know what my Tuesday night is going to look like. But yeah, taking responsibility for your emotions in the sense of comforting yourself, making yourself feel okay, and doing that through physical means, things that literally feel good. can be really impactful. And then at 11 o'clock tonight, the only other connection the moon makes, and I'll actually show you this one on the chart because I love showing conjunctions on the chart because I'm a nerd, I don't know. So this will be around 11 o'clock tonight. You can see the moon getting closer to Uranus there, and there it is, a conjunction between the moon and Uranus in Taurus. So when these two energies merge, we can experience a shift or a rapid change in our mood. It could be even surprising, even a turn of events late tonight at 11 p.m. or just as the night goes on, as the moon comes close to Uranus. Some of us might not really feel this at all if you go to sleep early, or even if you live on the East Coast and 11 p.m. Pacific time is the middle of the night for you. But I bring this up because if late tonight you feel this change, maybe a burst of energy or just a complete loss of energy, that could definitely be this conjunction between the moon and Uranus. Your intuition and your instincts will feel a little bit more heightened as these energies merge. And you know, you might feel even a little bit more eccentric or weird later tonight. Uranus likes to stomp to the beat of its own drum. So if you're feeling kind of funky or weird later tonight, it's probably the moon forming this conjunction to Uranus. So if you are kind of just wanting to do your own thing, that can actually be beneficial with these two energies blending. But again, this is super late at night. So the one thing I will say is that if this shift in mood or change in mood makes you feel like you just need to get energy out, or you're craving excitement, you need something, stomp to the beat of your own drum, but make sure you're not stomping on anyone else in the process. We talk about this a lot with Uranus. Uranus makes us crave excitement, and sometimes when the moon is involved, that excitement can be provoking someone else around us. You know what I mean? Like, I just need something, so I'm just going to poke the bear until something exciting happens. So make sure you're not doing that. But overall, I think this should be a mood change for the positive late tonight. I would say the other thing this could bring about, because the moon is in Taurus, and Taurus is love, comfort in the form of physical comfort, which often means food. Like, Tauruses are usually our foodies and love comfort through food. I could see this conjunction between the moon and Uranus at 11 p.m. being like, hey, you need a late night snack. You really need that ice cream right now. Hey, those cookies in the pantry, those are calling your name. I could see that being a late night craving for sure. So it might not even be this like emotional crazy thing. It could just be like, ooh, I really want to feel good right now, and like that excitement. And Taurus definitely could bring food or other forms of physical comfort into the picture. That could definitely be a consequence of the moon forming this conjunction to Uranus. You might get a little boost of excitement later tonight physically. So those are the transits today. Kind of quiet in the skies, and that will be the case over the next couple days. But we are leading up to this full moon in Gemini, the last full moon of 2021 this Saturday. And I have a feeling it's going to be a really fun, social, celebratory full moon. Lots of holiday events happening all over the world, really starting to ramp up as we're only 11 days away from Christmas. How did that even happen, you guys? Good morning, Danny. Good morning, George. Can we believe that Christmas is that close? Am I the only one who has not started Christmas shopping yet? Because I'm starting to stress myself out a little bit, you guys. Maybe this conjunction between the moon and Uranus will give me the little change of pace that I need to do some late night Christmas shopping tonight. Okay, let's do an overview and then we will pull a card. So the only major transit we're seeing today is this opposition between Mars, which just moved into Sagittarius, and the North Node. That means at the same time, Mars is forming a conjunction to the South Node. This can have us acting like a past version of ourself or acting out past patternings. It can also mean that our actions aren't necessarily working towards the same goals that we have for our highest self. Meanwhile, the moon moved into Taurus overnight, inviting us to get nice and cozy and giving us the grit to keep pushing towards our goals, taking those final steps before this weekend's full moon. Later tonight, the moon squares off with Saturn, which could bring down the vibe a little bit, make us feel a little bit sad, inviting us to take responsibility for our emotions. And then even later tonight, just before midnight, the moon forms a conjunction to Uranus, which could bring a change in mood, maybe a late night craving for some excitement, and just a shift overall later tonight. All right, that's what's going on with today's transits. Now let's pull a card. I'm doing something I've never done before. So not that exciting. I'm pulling from the same deck I pulled from yesterday because I really just liked it. I liked the card. It was really positive, and I think we kind of need that in our lives sometimes. So this is the Modern Witch Tarot deck, and let's see. I have the little guidebook pulled up already. As I mentioned yesterday, if you were watching, I'm not a tarot master by any means. I do still have to look up all the meanings for everything. I love my oracle cards that come with the description. There's no pressure to know what the cards mean right when you pull them. But luckily this one comes with a guidebook. And these cards are so fun because, like I said, it's the Modern Witch Tarot deck, so it's like all these modern women drawn on all the cards. Okay, here we go. All right, everybody, send your energy towards these cards. What do we need to know this morning? The Six of Wands is our card today. What does it mean? What does it mean? If you know what it means, let me know while I look it up. The Six of Wands. All right. It has this woman who looks like a badass riding a horse. I thought it was a unicorn. It's a horse. And lots of wands in the background. There's also another lady behind her, like holding one of the wands. I'm not sure what that lady's doing, but hey, interpret that as you will. Okay. Got to get through all the main character cards. I don't know if that's what it's really called. Okay, Six of Wands. Oh yes, and now that I'm reading this, it's important to note that the woman is wearing like a little V earring. So if you can't see that, that's what I'm seeing on this card. And the description says, a V for victory. You've just won a big battle and now you can enjoy the rewards. Your admiring supporters cheer you on in a victory parade since you've just accomplished something big. Success is yours. Enjoy your moment and let your ego get that boost. Okay. So this card is inviting us to celebrate ourselves. You know, I think it's funny because yesterday's card was literally celebrate, and you know, we've been talking and we will continue talking about this full moon coming up and this opportunity for celebration, celebrating yourself, celebrating all of the progress you've made so far this year and all the progress you'll continue to make in 2022. But I like this Six of Wands card because it's telling us we don't have to wait to celebrate. Like, you've already won your big battle. You've already gotten through 2021, and you know, now it says it's the time to enjoy your rewards. So even if you didn't get everything accomplished you wanted to get accomplished this week, this year, today, enjoy what you did do. Enjoy the progress you have made already. And your admiring supporters cheer you on in a victory parade. Okay, so that's what these people are in the background. They're admiring supporters cheering you on top of that horse. So if you have been doubting yourself at all, or you feel like nobody sees your efforts, it's not true. Everybody's cheering you on, and you deserve to cheer yourself on too. That's what this card is reminding us of this morning. So enjoy a little bit of a quieter day today. Make sure you're not acting out past patterning too much. And if you are, catch yourself, give yourself grace. Know that you already sent light ahead for yourself today by watching this live stream, by tuning into the energy. You've got whatever lies ahead. And we'll talk more tomorrow about what's going on with the moon leading up to the full moon this Saturday. Let's see, I don't think we have any major transits to talk about until then. We just have this conjunction between Venus and Pluto kind of pulling away for the next couple of days. And then later this week, we'll start to talk about a square between Saturn and Uranus forming this transit that has really defined 2021. We'll talk about that. It doesn't become exact until later this month, but we'll start to feel the energy of that later this week. And then as far as the Spiritual Journalist goes, our weekly live interview, we have that coming up in just about an hour at 10 o'clock this morning, right here, wherever you're watching, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. We are interviewing my dear friend, Allie Pierce of Allie Abroad, talking all about travel. She quit her job as a journalist several years ago, which, is a common theme, I think, with the guests on my show so far. And now she travels the world, but more so she encourages other women to travel as well. And she has an amazing offering right now for women who do want to travel more and maybe don't have a group of gals that they normally go with or that have the availability to travel. She is starting group travel for women, which is so awesome. And I have a feeling we're going to have the most fun conversations. So tune into that at 10 o'clock. We'll also have another interview on the Spiritual Journalist later this week, which I'll talk about some more tomorrow. So thank you so much for joining me this morning for transits today, for tuning into the energy, for interacting with me through the chat, helping make sure the stream is up and running correctly. And I will see you right back here tomorrow morning around 8:15. But until then, stay curious. Thank you so much for joining us and aligning with the energy of the universe today. If you enjoyed this morning's episode of Transits Today, you can join our live astrology discussion every weekday morning right here wherever you're watching. And head to thespiritualjournalist.com to read your daily astrology forecast and browse the Spiritual Shop. The most fun way to help keep these forecasts free and support more content like this is to buy yourself a little something on our website. But if you're feeling extra generous, you can also buy me a coffee to fuel future live streams. Just tap the link in the description or head to buymeacoffee.com and search The Spiritual Journalist. And speaking of, you can also tune in to The Spiritual Journalist, our weekly live interview where we ask our guests questions about everything from crystals and manifestation to mental health and the environment. Those conversations stream live right here wherever you're watching now every Tuesday. I'm so grateful you found us here, and I can't wait for our next conversation. Through for whoever is watching.